It's that time of year again, the weather's warming up, everyone's having a good time, and what we're going to do for you is stuff your Christmas stocking full of economic and stock predictions for 2018 so you can pull them out over summer and have a very good time. Ben, a lot of people go broke making macro predictions, but let's try you anyway. Hey?
Yeah, I'll try.
The first one we'll kick off with is rates. We all talk about rates. Rates haven't moved for nearly 18 months in Australia, or at the official end. So where will the RBA take that official short-term rate over the next 12 months?
I think they'll take it higher, Matthew, but I think there'll only be one rate rise next year. 25 basis points? I think so.
I think it's farcical. We have an emergency setting of 1.5% on the cash rate in Australia. I think they'll rise twice in 2018 and probably earlier than people expect.
They hike. I think what you'll find by this time next year, unemployment will have a four handle on it, and a bit like the Fed Reserve, they'll want to go before inflation goes.
Hike without a doubt. I think the Fed are going to be hiking 5 times next year. They're going to be behind the curve if they don't. We're going to follow. Plus inflation is going to start picking up with wages growth picking up in Australia.
Nothing in the first 6 months. We'll get one, maybe two in the second half of the year, mainly because the US is hiking, forces their hand.
Hike next year, 25 basis points on Melbourne Cup Day. The economy's not as bad as what a lot of people think, and we think inflation will continue to improve next calendar year.
That doesn't sound great for the Aussie dollar. Aussie up, down, it's defied all logic the last year or so. What's
Aussie dollar will be a fair bit lower in our opinion, and we also think that US interest rates will surprise on the upside, i.e. we'll get more than 3 rate hikes in the US over the next 12 months.
I'm bullish on the Aussie dollar. I think it goes to 80. I don't believe that no one thinks that the RBA is going to raise rates twice, and I'm very bullish on China. And I think the Aussie dollar is basically a commodity currency, so I think Aussie to 80.
I think maybe just drifts a little bit higher, maybe 77, 78.
Very hard to predict, but I'd say lower still, maybe to the low 70s. I think as the interest rate carry trade unwinds, US keep raising, maybe 3 rate rises in America next year. We should see some pressure on the dollar.
So what I think you'll see is two forces. Them raising rates, which will want to pull it up, but the US raises rates quicker, which wants to push it down. Sad to say, I think it's about stays the same.
Look, I'm slightly low, maybe 70 cents, because you've got a tug of war between global growth that's going to be strong, China growing at 6.4%, the world growing at 3.8%, versus US hiking rates, which I think will be 4 to 5 times. So a stronger US dollar versus that means I think the US dollar will slightly win. So 70 cents.
70 cents, okay. I might hear some bulls out in the background, I think. Australian equities, higher or lower in 2018 after a pretty average year in 17?
Yeah, look, we've underperformed the US for 6 out of the last 7 years. I think this will be the year we catch up. The US technology stocks will have a setback. Australia's growing well, interest rates still low by world comparisons. Investment is at record highs. Consumer is the big thing. If you see consumer spending or consumer confidence go back up again, I think that's the canary in the coal mine. You'll see a PE lift in the market and bang, we're off. Long and strong.
I'm a bit neutral on Australian equities. I think there'll be ways of making money in Australian equities, but I think the broader market might just drift around in a sort of 10% range. But it may drift higher, but I'm more neutral than bullish.
So you're not a bull, a bear, you're a human?
I'm somewhere in between.
I am bullish. I don't know where it's going to come from, but I do believe that the market will breach its old high at some stage. Whether we make it in the next 12 months, not sure, but I reckon we're in for about a 12 to 15% rise, and we will get past that old 6.8, 6.9 level on the All Ords.
I think you'll see a double-digit year for Aussie equities next year. Whilst we're a global house, we'd say that here, with commodities staying strong next year, GDP doing good globally, things not so bad here, it will be a good year for markets here.
You better get in line with the rest of the bulls.
I know. There's still too many of us, that worries me.
I'm bullish on the equity market for next year. I do think a short-term correction is fairly imminent, but I think overall it's going to be a pretty decent year.
Give us a number.
6,300.
6,300, which gives us about
5%, 5 and a bit percent.
So as boring as last year?
I think so, but there'll be parts of the market that do a lot better than that, as we've seen this year as well.
Bullish. It's all set up for a good year. We think it could be up north of 10%, really predominantly driven by the US and the improving domestic economy driving our share market higher, closer to 7,000.
A bull. I was going to make a cow noise.